Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, welcome to another episode of 94 Feet Podcast. This is your boy Big Zeke in the building. I'm back like I never left.
Unfortunately, y'all.
Um,
Here we are.
you know what? Look, I'm back. I'm steering the ship. Let's just relax.
Yeah, you were steering the
You
ship
just
into
you
the-
just ruined your introduction. Now we going to Dre. What's going on, Dre? How you doing, man?
Oh man, life is good, man. Life is good. Welcome back, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man.
Good. Welcome back.
You know, you when you sick and you get the covered by the blood.
Sick.
You're not sick for long.
Sick.
I wasn't sick, but I was just sick.
Oh yeah.
I have no shame, and the COVID-19 will not keep me down because I'm covered by the blood. Hallelujah.
What?
The blood of Christ. Okay.
Blood of the goat from Africa?
And this man directly in front of me is
African angels.
his introduction is Kesey. He's getting his scratch on. How you doing, Kesey?
What's good people?
That's good, man. You want to introduce a special guest behind us? You want to bring him in just to say hi?
No.
You don't? Hey, if you don't want to, that's you, man. I'm just asking.
Yes, I got my special guest here, man. My right hand man, my main man.
Come here. He good.
He's scared.
He good.
That's cool.
He good.
Everybody,
He good.
Mike ain't for everybody.
He
That's
good.
cool.
He
Hey,
good.
Mike ain't for everybody.
Shout out to the nephew in the building.
Yeah, we got a special young guest in here. See us live in action, and then maybe one day he can take over the mic.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
We shows we're looking at a replacement for your daddy. You can replace your daddy
Come here.
real quick,
Come here, nephew.
just to say what's up.
Come here. Say what's up and tell the people who you are. You okay? We'll fix it. Come on. Hurry up. Taking all day. Who are you?
Preston,
Preston, how old are you?
6,
What's your favorite basketball team?
Lakers,
Wait a minute. Whoa. Whoa.
Nope. Know what?
What?
That's what's taught at
That's
home,
the
isn't it?
Lakers.
That's
We're-
what's taught at home.
That's what my favorite player is.
Who's your favorite player?
Giannis.
Oh,
Giannis.
okay.
And what
All right.
what are you doing today with Daddy after the show?
I don't know.
He doesn't know.
No.
Okay. Well, have a good day and tell the people be good.
Be good.
All right. That's Preston, y'all. Give him a hand. Give Preston a hand, y'all.
Give a hand. Who are you
Give
talking?
him a hand.
Who are you talking to?
Talking to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
come on,
right.
nephew, man.
I'm not doing. Okay, let's just get to now that we've introduced ourselves and also the special guest. We've also talked about the week real quick.
You're also
This is the 2-year anniversary this past week of the late great Kobe Bryant.
yeah.
Just real quick,
Yeah.
your best Kobe moment.
For me, best Kobe moment is when he playfully tripped Michael Jordan and started punching him in the chest. I think at the All-Star game or one of their
I think it
games.
was All-Star game. Okay.
So when Jordan was a wizard, those years we try to forget. So
that was your thing.
best non-basketball moment, but best basketball moment when he had that stretch of 8 or 9 games where he scored 40 plus points. So the Lakers were in a bad place at that time, and Kobe was being Kobe and just taking over the game. So rest in peace to the Mamba.
My my favorite Kobe moment was when I think it was 2. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't the biggest Kobe fan just because he was too close to imitating Jordan. But one of my favorite Kobe moments was Shaq said it was at his funeral. He said hey, Kobe wasn't passing the ball. His teammates kind of went to Shaq, was like, hey man, can you kind of talk to Kobe? He was like, he said, I said, hey Kobe, there's no I in team. He said no, but it's a show is a me and that mother. So that was funny. And then like I said before, I wasn't the biggest Kobe moment, but I think his last game, I think he had like 60 or something like that.
The game they let them win.
Yeah, that game right there. I think that was like, I can say that was the moment I was like, he's that guy. But I think that, that was the special thing about Kobe is that he was relentless in his suit of being that guy. And I think he was like the last killer to me. To me, he was like the last killer. Like,
You had to say it. That's
no, I'm
part
saying
of
he's the
debate.
last. I'm saying he's the last killer. I'm not saying he's the best. I'm saying he's the last. To me, he's the last killer.
Yeah, his
Last of a dying breed.
Yeah, pretty
in,
much.
in his pursuit of greatness. I
Yeah.
will give you that.
Kesey.
I totally agree. I wasn't always the biggest Mamba fan either, but watching Kobe score 81 was probably my top moment of watching the Mamba.
Okay.
And I think watching him in the playoffs with Shaq was some great moments too.
There was some great
That
moments.
dynamic duo was just ridiculous, man.
Yeah, it was. Okay. So we're gonna start off with the injury report. Dre, if you want to kick that off for us.
Sure. The injury report, NBA, that list keeps growing and growing and growing. The Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young, is out with right hip soreness. He is listed as day to day. The Charlotte Hornets are without Kelly Oubre. It's Oubre, with an ankle injury, day to day. The Cavaliers are without Laurie Markkanen, sprained right ankle. He is out 2 weeks. Laurie, who? The Dallas Mavericks are without.
Where's my say, man? Come on, man.
Well, you missed it. The Dallas Mavericks are without Porzingis. Anybody want to see my surprise face? Well, we're on TV. Anyone want to see my surprise voice?
Mm-hmm.
That's my surprise voice,
That's your
right?
surprise voice, right?
You know what I'm saying? He's out with right knee soreness. He just needs to hang it up. Tim Hardaway Jr. is out with a fracture on his foot. And he is listed as no timetable for his return. Golden State are without Iggy. He is out with a hip injury.
Sound about right.
Yep. The Thunder are without Alexander, right ankle sprain, out several weeks. The Suns are without Jay Crowder, bruised wrist. He is out indefinitely. Ayton, right ankle sprain, out indefinitely. Sack, still without Fox, left ankle soreness. The Jazz are without Donovan Mitchell. He is in concussion protocol. He is listed as to be determined. Gobert is out with a sprained calf. He is also day-to-day, or his injury is to be determined as well. And the Los Angeles Lakers are without LeBron James. He is also listed as day-to-day, dealing with a number of different injuries over time. That's 18 seasons of basketball, folks.
All right, we're gonna keep it moving here with our with our shoot around segment. First thing, as we all know, the All-Star Weekend is coming up, and one of the festivities in All-Star Weekend is usually the Rising Star game. This year they have changed the format, and it will include somewhat of a tournament. It's going to include somewhat of a tournament. You got 4 teams. Each of these teams will be like 4 7-player teams will compete in like a mini tournament. Consists of 3 games. Each game will be played to a final target score. The pool of 28 players will be 12 NBA rookies, 12 NBA sophomores, and 4 of the top young players from the G League. NBA players will be selected by NBA assistant coaches. Ignite players will be selected by the NBA G League head coaches. The teams will be coached by a member of the NBA 75th anniversary team, and assistant coaches will be from NBA All-Star Game coaching staffs. The bracket will be Team A versus Team B, and Team C versus Team D will be in the semifinals game. The 2 winning teams will meet in the final game. So, what do we think of this? Because usually it's just the sophomore versus the freshman.
Yeah.
But they've changed it up to something of a supposed to be more entertaining factor.
I like the element of it, man, because another key part of it is it's like a race to 75. So the team that, gets to 75 points, it appears will be the winner or something like that.
Yeah.
So I like that the NBA gets creative and they started thinking out the box with these things. It does sound a little confusing for the casual fan, but it also gives our G League players some clock. It gives them some TV time. And so for, scouts and teams that are still dealing with COVID players and hardships, this could be an opportunity for some of these players to pick up on those NBA stimulus checks. So I like it. The NBA has been more creative the past 2 years with this whole All-Star format. dating back to changing how the All-Star game is played with the
Mhm.
traditional East versus West. So I like it. I think this could be really, really good for basketball, especially showcasing and giving more players a chance to play. So I think that's a really good move for the NBA.
I don't know, y'all. You know,
I
I
don't know about
like the
either, but go ahead.
competition of the up and coming stars versus the incoming stars. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I like that little bit of competition. Like that gives those rookies coming in to let those sophomores know, like, I'm coming for you.
Exactly.
That's how I feel. Like I'm competitive like that, where it's like I'm coming for your head. So
Yeah.
you know.
And I don't think it was ever like I didn't think this change was needed, because even though we're not really like watching this game, like I think a casual basketball fan is not watching this game.
I watch these games.
But I'm saying that, like, you're not a casual basketball fan. I watched the game too, but we're not like casual basketball fans. So we're guys who like watch this stuff. You get a chance to see rookies who aren't necessarily getting a lot of TV time
Exactly.
play against the competition of rookies of last year. And on top of that, you kind of talking crazy. These guys are young enough where they're still trying to prove themselves to the league. So I thought this is an unnecessary change. It's more simple than it is with like basketball with basketball, but it is one of those things where I think it was just like unnecessary. But I get it. I thought it was just a little unnecessary. Moving forward, James Harden intends to test free agency this summer. He is rumored to be unhappy with the teammates, with the team, their placement right now, and how things have been going. Do we think James Harden is jumping gun here? Does he have a legitimate reason for concern?
Yes, and another yes.
Yes, for what? Which one?
All of them.
So he does.
Yes, he needs to test free agency.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I know they are having issues over there.
Uh-huh.
And yes, I know he's unhappy. And yes,
is he jumping the gun?
He's jumping the gun at the same time.
Time out. Hold on.
Because listen, hold on.
Go ahead.
My only problem with him is you jump ship to go to this, right?
Yeah.
You thought it was gonna be all sweet.
He didn't say it, but he was thinking same thing with LeBron. We're not gonna win one championship. It's 2 championships, 3 He was thinking the same thing.
I know he was. I know that son of a biscuit was. I know he was. I know that's the only thing that was riding his mind was I got KD, Kyrie. There's no way we're not going to win at least 2 out of the next 3.
Okay, so here's my thing about this. With that, I agree with you. I agree with everything you just said. But with their recent struggles, KD has been out. And James Harden has to I think one of the things is James Harden, he's not taking accountability, because he's not. It's like he's in Houston, he was averaging 35 and 5. So when you average 30 plus, maybe let's say 30 plus, when you average 35 plus for like a couple years, and you like, okay, we keep coming across these teams that's just beating us in playoff time when it's supposed to be determined and stuff and such like that. So I don't understand. In this case right here, I think he has a reason to be like a little skeptical, but when you're not playing your part, how can you get mad at the rest of the guys? Because this roster isn't.
But see, the thing is,
nice like that.
He hasn't. He thought it was all peaches and cream because he hadn't had a team that caught the injury bug like that before.
That's true too.
But now, and you got 4 of the starting 5 out basically, because Kyrie don't get to play every game. Say it too. You know, he might as well be like an injured player because he don't get to play every day.
That's true too.
You got KD out 6 to 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Harris, what's his name?
Joe Harris. He's been out since
who knows
December.
Man, he's been out since like November. I ain't seen him playing.
I think it is around November.
But just think about it, like he's having that LeBron disease. You know what I'm saying? Where your whole roster is like you pulling up players from the G League just to even have enough to meet the requirements to play the game.
And then on top of that, I think and one of the things that every time we talk about Kyrie, last time we talked about Kyrie, we talked about like team chemistry, and how like you going in and out, like you playing home, you not playing home games, you playing away games. It affects everybody, and it's not just a we don't need you thing. It's one of because I mean to be honest, right now, KD being injured, Kyrie needs to be playing every game, home game, away game. He needs to be playing every game, and as much as James Harden doesn't want to say it, I think that it's starting to get to him with the whole in and out Kyrie thing, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out.
Oh yeah,
and he's like getting frustrated with it. Like they're not gonna say anything to the media because we're gonna definitely take that and run with it.
Oh, most definitely. They're gonna be hush hush about how he's really feeling.
Yeah, how they really feeling right now.
But he's gonna let you know he's feeling
frustrated.
He's frustrated a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just feel like I don't know if this is the same thing it was in Houston. Because in Houston, I think he's seen the writing on the wall as far as like it being they're not going to be contenders. Like this team is going down. Dre, while you rolling your eyes, you have something to put on this?
James Harden is a big baby. He is a superstar in a league of superstars. He is arguably a top 10 player. Arguably
was.
And he bullied his way out of Houston to go to a Brooklyn Nets team that was on the decline before it even started. Okay? Kyrie Irving, with or without COVID, has yet to play a full season in recent memory. Kevin Durant, fresh off an injury, is putting in too many minutes with these Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn gave up their entire future for this franchise to create this big three that's non-existent, right? James Harden has not had a pep in his step all season long.
That's true.
He is not an MVP caliber player
anymore.
And he's arguably, he's an all-star, barely, but he's still an all-star. I like the idea of him testing free agency because I don't like the idea of super teams. I don't like the fact that him, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant are on the same team. But if the rumors are true and he ends up in Philly, what have we just created? Another super team.
No, there won't be another super team.
If you have him and Embiid, and you're probably going to have an all-star point guard if they ever pull the trigger on a trade, that Philly will be a super team 2.0 or 1.0, whatever you want to do. So James Harden should test free agency, especially if money's not an issue. But like Westbrook, James Harden is part of the problem now. How many elite point guards do you need not to get it done with? You couldn't get it done with Westbrook. You couldn't get it done with Chris Paul. We really can't say, and nobody can get it done with Kyrie because he's not playing. And so I think he absolutely should test free agency. If he's unhappy with play, that's on you. Play better, right? You're still a superstar. It shouldn't take just KD and Kyrie to get you to play like an all-star that you are. Play better and help other people get involved. Does he have a – go ahead.
That change of the rule has significantly changed his game.
Okay. I was like, what?
Those rules that with the
step back,
the step back, and the jumping into
with the what is it called? The swipe.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the proper name for it either. But I know what you're talking about. That move that he's pretty infamous.
That was his patented move. He got 15 to 16 points a game off of that.
Off the free throw line.
You know what I mean? So like he ain't at the free throw line as much, so he ain't getting in the rhythm like he normally get in. And you ain't got no supporting cast, really. You can't even name nobody on their roster.
That's what I'm saying.
Outside of KD, Irving, Harden, and maybe Joe. Anybody else on the roster, you don't know who they are.
I mean, you know who they are, but you don't care who they are because they're not making a significant
difference.
Either you
don't care or you don't know. One
of
the two.
That's just I'll give you that because I will say, like, I think James needs to take all that stuff in consideration because, and I think one of the things that in the NBA is happening now, everything is starting to even out. I think Dre has been kind of preaching this a lot last year. I think last year and this year, the NBA is starting to even out with as far as like stars staying where they at and they're doing what they're supposed to do as far as like kind of being spread out. So, we thought the Lakers is going to run the table, but since they haven't, it's been teams that usually aren't there in there. Like you got the Grizzlies, you got the Phoenix Suns, even Golden State. They're coming up of age, not of age, but excuse me, their team is getting back to where they used to be, but they're not running the table. Like nobody in the NBA is running the table. So if James Harden does, let's say he tests free agency, there's no guaranteed championship anywhere he goes. And I think that's one of the things, like you have to take accountability to the situation you're in.
I don't know about that one now.
What do you mean?
I mean, he can be added to some rosters and they can be championship caliber.
On paper, but there's no guaranteed here.
Not anymore. You're right.
Yeah, there's no guarantee.
You're right, not anymore. That paper doesn't guarantee you championships no more.
Yeah, it used to be like, oh, that roster's stacked. They're definitely going to the NBA Finals. Now I think we don't know. I think even with, like, say, the Bucks are probably one of the best teams. Not on. I don't say they're the best team on paper, but this quote unquote big three that we have with Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday, they are probably like the best, big three in the league just because of the record when they're all on the floor.
Yeah, and when the three of them are playing together, even through the inconsistencies, they're consistent.
Yeah.
The problem with James Harden was meant to be a star.
Yeah.
And you can't be a superstar when you are playing next to Kevin Durant. You can't.
That's what you really?
You can't. I mean, look at when Klay and Steph Curry played alongside KD. As great as they were shooting, their game took a decline so KD can be in that spotlight. They were still doing lights out basketball, but it wasn't Curry getting 30 and 40 regularly like he normally would because KD was taking those points. James Harden, you cannot be the James Harden of old next to next to Kevin Durant. You can't join other key superstars. If you're trying to build a super team in today's basketball without it being too much on your gameplay, you have to join stars. So maybe it should be James Harden and Embiid would probably work.
I mean, well, speaking of that, the 76ers have ended trade talk with most teams, including that includes Ben Simmons. They're hoping to get a superstar caliber player this summer to partner with.
Sorry. You would think Ben Simmons can shoot like Steph Curry the way they turn stuff down.
I put on this podcast.
Oh,
well,
because they just turned on a good one. Go ahead.
No,
I'm gonna let you finish.
What's the latest deal they just turned?
Let them go into it.
Yeah, I was gonna get into it, but
they turned on a good one
because last week you guys talked about the Grant trade.
Yes,
I thought it was a bad trade.
Oh, I thought it was a bad trade with the Pistons.
Okay,
Wait,
Sacramento.
The Pistons or the
yes,
Sacramento?
It was the Pistons. The Sacramento one was his name?
I thought the Sac one was bad. I was glad that Sac turned it down. And the Pistons, I don't know what they were thinking.
I thought the Pistons one was a bad one. I thought the Sacramento one was probably the best one.
But they wanted Fox. That's why they turned it down. Sac said no because Philly wanted Fox a part of the deal.
Okay,
that's why I was glad that Sacramento said no.
And so, but like I said before, to me, let's get into this one, but this specifically. They're hoping to get a caliber player, a superstar caliber player this summer to partner with Joel Embiid. They're thinking James Harden. That's what they really want. That's who they really want. That's what they want to try to get. With the kind of MVP season that Joel Embiid is having, are they wasting away his prime years?
When I think about the 76ers, I think about the Green Bay Packers. A football reference here. Most Packers
because they lose in the first round every year. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
First of all,
hey, brother, to my basketball.
First of all, at least me and Kesey seen 2 championships in our lifetime.
Y'all seen one.
We seen Brett Favre's.
I seen Brett Favre's,
and we seen Aaron Rodgers.
They were a decade apart.
It doesn't matter.
They were a decade apart.
It doesn't matter. We still seen them both.
So
that's how you seen the
This
Cowgirls.
is not a football. I seen the football. I seen the Cowboys win the Super Bowl when I was younger.
You was too young to even know you was appreciating football.
Cowgirls.
Shut up, man. You was like 11.
Look, man, we know this is a basketball podcast, brother.
So anyway, the reason I made that football reference is Aaron Rodgers and the Packers will be known for running the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
They will be known as probably the best regular season team out there. And for many of us, we believe that the Packers wasted Aaron Rodgers' best years. Embiid, you owe Philly some years for all those years you were injured. Okay? So he can waste a couple more years so his team can figure it out. No, Philly are not wasting their best years on him. He owes them years.
Okay, let me ask this question then. Would that be what you
then Ben Simmons owes some years too? Then.
Oh, Ben owes them years, therapy, counseling, reimbursement. He owes them everything.
Okay, hold on a second. From what you just said,
layup he missed. Go ahead.
So from what you just said, do you think he should put pressure on management to get somebody right now?
No, he shouldn't, because it's not like they're having a bad season. Embiid and company can do fine with what they have, but they need a key point guard.
That's my point, though.
But James Harden's not a point guard. So if you're going after
this
James,
year he is.
Yeah, true, because he likes the ball in his hand. If Embiid can be patient with the process, because that's his slogan, trust the process.
That is his slogan.
Trust Philly to do right by you once they get off of this Ben Simmons saga. Philly, I believe, can win a championship in the next 4 to 7 years.
4 to 7?
That's a long time.
It's a long time, but you think about the talent in the NBA. Wait a minute. Look at the Bucks. Look how long it took us to finally get over that hump.
This is my thing, though. If we didn't win within the next, I say 3 years,
we were done.
Giannis was gone.
We were done.
Giannis was gone.
And I say that to say that Embiid can put Philly in a position to say, okay, the reason I said, 4 to 7 years?
Yeah.
Because Embiid can sign that super max contract.
Hold
up, where he's locked in for 5 years. And if in the next max contract they can't get one, then we have to start talking, did they waste his years? Because let's remember, he didn't really play the first 3 years of his 5-year contract. He didn't really play, which is why the Bucks passed on him, because they wanted a right now impact. So Embiid just needs to settle down, trust the process a little more, and stick to your team. Where's he going to go? I mean, a lot of people will come after Embiid. A lot of people. But remember, bro, basketball is about coaching and chemistry. If you take Embiid and you switch him and Anthony Davis out, it would never work.
Why not?
It would never work. Him and LeBron, do you think that could really work?
Yes.
No, I don't, because Embiid is also a player that likes that spotlight. He likes the ball in his hands.
And that's what LeBron needs. LeBron doesn't mind taking a back seat now. He didn't say that.
Especially in year 18.
No, hold on a second now, real quick. Because
Anthony Davis just can't pick up the seat.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Joel Embiid is 27. 27 years old.
Okay.
Prime is that 25-30 range.
I would disagree. Prime is as long as you're adding to the game. LeBron, it could be argued
he's not in his prime.
He's not in his prime, but he's still playing better than most players in their
he has
prime.
To.
What do you mean because he has to? Or that's something he can do.
No, I'm saying
you can't say because he has to.
No,
because I don't know. I'm just saying, like the way he said it, though, like because he said because he has.
That's why my nephew is a Laker fan, right?
That's probably why. Because all he watches is Laker games. No, what I'm saying is this. Is what I'm saying.
Games, man. We watch all games in my house. He ain't just a Lakers fan.
So you just cover his eye. Hey, you know, pay attention.
He also like Brooke Lopez too. So.
Okay, well,
he really likes Brooke Lopez. I'm like, dude, really?
Brooke
who?
No, what I'm saying is what I'm saying he has to is because LeBron James is playing at a level where he has to take the shots that he's taking to kind of keep these Lakers up in the game. When I say 27 as far as Joel Embiid, he also has the injury bug.
He does.
And if
very injury prone.
That's what I'm saying. So if you're already prone to miss between, I say 20 games a year, let's say 20 games a year. I think that's kind of extreme, but like say between 15 and 20 games a year, it's only so long you can be doing what he's doing right now. Because like right now, I think this last month he's been playing like on an MVP level. He was doing that last year though, until late in the season he got hurt, and so like that's why I hear what you're saying, but when we talk about like them wasting his years,
we didn't say that. I didn't say they wasted his years. I said he owes them years because he's wasted their years. He was drafted in 14, right? Yeah. He was drafted in 14, didn't play. He was drafted in 15, didn't play. Or played in 15, right? 16, 17, barely played, right? Mm-hmm. The 17, 18 season is when we got to see Joel Embiid for what it's worth. Mm-hmm. If a team paid you and they still picked you, bro, you can give them a couple of more years. That's all I'm saying. He is only in year 8 with this franchise.
I'm gonna tell y'all like this.
He's only in year 8.
I don't think he is gonna be as good as he is right now in 3 or 4 years, because he's only one injury away from being lackluster again. Because just think about it, like big man bodies, can't take the injuries of some guards, and
that's why they don't last long.
That's why they don't last as long. And if he lasts another 3 or 4 years, I'd be surprised if he's elite for another 3 or 4 years.
And I agree with Kesey, because
that doesn't mean he should leave his team, though, does it?
If you want, like, eventually he's gonna have to leave just because he wants a championship. But you don't want to be just on a team. You want to be part of something special. And I think Philadelphia is doing this the wrong way as far as the whole Ben Simmons saga, because he obviously doesn't want to play there. And you're waiting out for a guy who is as talented as James Harden is. He's going to have to prove himself next year.
So
because he's not up to we're used to him getting 35 plus, and we're used to him getting these numbers that has him in an elite company. But this year has definitely been a decline.
So if he signs an extension, I don't know if he did or not, Joel Embiid is technically eligible to be traded after this season if he opts out of his final year. He has his next year pays him $33 million. He can opt out, obviously, and become a unrestricted free agent, and he can court a lot of money, or Philly can put him on the trade market, which we know they're not going to do. Okay. If he re-signs his contract extension, which I think he did, you may have to fact check me, but he's going to make $125 million just in his first, almost $150 million in his first 3 years of that deal. Mm-hmm. So he has this new extension that takes him from 2023, according to my notes, to 2027. You're going to make 43, you're going to make 47, you're going to make 50, you're going to make 54. That is a heavy incentivized cost of living contract, right? You know how our jobs give us a 1% cost of living? Yeah. And be wanting us to be happy. Mm-hmm. His cost of living bonuses are a lot higher than that, right? Yeah. And if Philly is saying to you, we are committed and investing in you to long term, give that team some time to make it right. They didn't do nothing to Ben Simmons. This is Ben Simmons doing these things.
I'm going to tell you like this right now. If I'm Philly, I'm looking for a Ben and Embiid package that's going to bring me back something a little bit younger.
Well, I mean, they're already trying to get Ben Simmons. They're trying to get rid of what's his name? Tobias Harris too.
Well, they're trying to position him and Simmons as a package deal.
They got too much on the books. That's why you got to package two of them together.
I get that.
Philly is doomed over the next 3 or 4 years if they don't get a good package.
Just from a salary perspective,
I'm just saying. Yep, from salary perspective, they're doomed.
Yeah,
if they don't get rid of 2 out of that 3.
And I agree with you on that. It's just that, especially with the NBA, they can they can give them like some they'll just penalize them, and then they'll pay the penalty, just like they did in Golden State. They just play the penalty and whatever the case may be. But if it gets you to a championship, I think that Ben Simmons is the guy who messed this up for Philadelphia. Even if they didn't pan out this year, they still they could have took next year into a whole nother thing where they're making they're making another run as they did last year. to be the number 1 seed and to take on all these greats, like, because Milwaukee's not going nowhere. We got our superstar signed, or our superstar signed for the next 3-4 years. So I think Philadelphia are wasting Joel's good years, because from the stats that Dre just gave, Joel gonna be like 30 something in his 30s by the time he get out of this contract, and we're gonna be sitting there wondering what happened, especially if they don't pick up Damian Lillard or James Harden.
Years, though? You have yet to explain to me
because he's not going to be as good as he was this past couple years.
How is that Philly's fault?
That's not their fault.
That's their fault.
Wait a minute.
That's not their fault.
Hold up. No, let me give you my rebuttal. Because you said it. He's been an MVP candidate the past 3 seasons, and he probably would have won last year if he didn't get injured. So how is it Philly's fault? How are they wasting his year?
Because
they're yet to compel that argument.
I'm going to say it. Because they're letting Ben Simmons ruin this team. You're in a good spot now, but they're not going to win the championship if they continue to let Ben Simmons control the narrative.
I would agree with that.
That's what I'm saying. You get rid of him. You don't even have to have a superstar point guard, just somebody who can shoot the 3, who can play D, and get Joel's Embiid the ball. That's all you need.
So then
that's not all they need.
What do you say?
They struggling in a lot of categories.
They are struggling, but what team isn't? Like, we're not looking for a perfect guy. I mean, Chris Paul isn't perfect, but he's good for that team.
My thing is, they just got to take a deal, get it over with, get this shenanigans over with.
And I kind of feel the same way.
I'm sick of people turning down their deals because they want
the whole team.
They want the mama, the daddy, the uncle, and everybody else to go along with whoever they asking for. Like, you asking for too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know Ben Simmons is an elite player, but he's not the top elite player. He's not top 10. Top 20.
Top 20.
But not top 10.
Top 10. I mean, he's not top 10. He's top 20.
They asking for something like he's top 5.
I will give you that. Because James Harden, even James Harden and Lillard, that's top 5.
Yeah, that's top 5.
That's top 5. And I said on this, I said on this podcast, and I stick by this, that if Ben Simmons got his shooting together, he'd probably be the closest thing to LeBron James. And I stick by that. Because if all he missing is shooting, he plays D, he has a nice size, he can run the floor, he can lock up little bitty point guards, as you like to call them. So why not
little itty bitties?
Little bit itty bitties. So he just put them in the post. So if he can get his shooting together, what can stop him?
Or just go to a team that recognizes we don't need you for shooting.
That's another thing.
What team would that be, though? Just hold on. Think about the teams. What team would you suggest he go to?
So out of all these deals, until they wanted Fox, the best deal was Sacramento. That was the best deal that I've seen out of all these deals. Now,
for who?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Remember, we are only talking about this because he passed on a layup. If he didn't pass the layup, he would still be in Philly playing right now, being dogged about his shot. We are all talking about this. He is trade bait because of his layup and his refusal to show up to work.
More because he refuses to show up to work.
Ben Simmons is a great talent who happens to not be a great shooter. LeBron went through this when they were talking about he wouldn't take last shots, right? He went through this. Oh, my goodness. He went through this. Bengals are winning 24-21 on this. It's football Sunday, y'all. We got to do both. So, if anything, I'm not going to say Philly is wasting away Joel's years. I think Philly is making their management look garbage. Like, if I'm a player, I'm challenged going to Philly's management. I'm challenged going to that team because how the management can't seem to unload Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons won't play for y'all. And I'm not saying you should just take like me and Kesey for Ben Simmons, right?
Yeah.
But
better off.
Y'all gonna come to work.
At least I show up every day.
Hey, y'all both gonna show up.
But I'm saying they've negotiated with all 30 basketball teams. All 30 of them.
I think they're taking a big risk.
They should have been traded that boy.
They
should have been traded him for something because now teams are going to be like, dude, y'all management's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Well, moving forward, the Houston Rockets offered John Wall and some first round picks for Russell Westbrook, but the Lakers turned it down due to not wanting to give up draft picks. Was this a good move or a bad move on the Lakers' part?
I think it's a good move.
It was a safe move.
It was a what?
Safe.
What do you mean by
let
that?
The Laker man go
Safe.
first.
Let's let the Lake fan.
It's safe. Because you can't keep giving up your draft picks because we about 2 years away from a draft pick right now.
About 2 days.
Huh?
No, they ain't that bad.
We're about 2 years away from having a first round draft pick.
Bro, they're in the bottom right now. What you mean they're not that bad? They're in the bottom 4.
Yeah. That's not, top 10 draft pick.
Top 15.
Yeah, top 15.
So,
I'll give you this. I guess my thing about that, I understand safe, but I think this was I think this is the Lakers not wanting to throw in the towel.
To be proven that they were wrong.
Yeah, that too. But also they don't want to they don't want to give up on Anthony Davis and Westbrook.
I don't think they have a problem with
because in
they
Los Angeles still win now.
In the trade talks, if that deal was on the table, obviously they was talking about it.
They are.
They done already come to the conclusion that the Westbrook deal ain't gonna work. They just waiting on the perfect trade to offload him.
No one wants Westbrook though.
Let me tell you something. The Los Angeles Lakers are in 9th place right now. Like 9th. They are far from the top 4. And Kesey used the word safe, but I'm going to say it was good because the Lakers know that right now they are playing against borrowed time. LeBron might have a year or 2 left.
What?
I said what I said. He might have it. Dude, this is season 18. Who won?
Tied it up.
Oh, they tied it? Okay. Overtime.
But my thing is, though,
overtime. Well, okay, we're back.
He's in year 18, and he's still a top 2 player.
He's a top 2 player, but he's also injured multiple times during the season.
Because he's old.
Okay.
Because
but hold on, before you go any further.
Okay.
So then, what's the problem when KD is out? What's the problem when James Harden is out? What's the problem
less years on their body.
When Rudy Gobert is out.
Less years on his body.
Giannis is out.
Time out. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, that's known for the NBA now for players to be out periodically, frequently, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, let's pump the brakes here.
Real quick, Zeke. Earlier today, America, I asked Zeke what time it was. He looked at his clock. He said it was 4:00. I looked at mine and said it was 4:00. He said it was 4:15. That's what you just did. Okay, that's what you just did. You just danced around and gave us it's dark outside when it's light outside. That's what you just did. We get it. Okay, you like LeBron. We get it. It is okay. I'm sorry, Presto. I'm not really bad at him. It is okay for you to like LeBron and say that he's not going to be the same.
He's not the same. Look, how many times LeBron gotten hurt in his career compared to this last 2 years in Los Angeles? And that's just, a lot of this is him just getting old, and we get it. Now, that's fine. But my thing about this is like I said before, the Los Angeles Lakers don't want to give up. They don't want to just give up on Westbrook and Anthony Davis. Plus, I thought you were going to say we're a couple years from LeBron James retiring, which we are.
No, he said a year.
I said a year or 2.
Okay.
I said he's in year 18.
LeBron is about 4 away.
Wow.
3 or 4.
I say 3 or 4.
A solid 3 or 4.
A solid 3 or 4.
I give him 2.
Clearly.
Because here's why I give him 2. Not because of the decline of see, here's a problem with LeBron fans. Y'all always think people coming after his talent. Okay. Let me finish. You said what you had to say.
Well, you finished. I don't know who you think you got to talk with your hands to, brother. I'm hearing that to you.
It's not necessarily because we're always talking about him declining as a player, but do you really think LeBron is going to stay in a Lakers franchise that's going to be a losing team? Do we think that LeBron is going to be a franchise that's going to be rebuilding? Because that's what the Lakers are close to doing. Half their team right now are all on 1-year contracts. Okay, the only multiple players on that team are who? The guy that never plays, Mr. Fragile, top 75 too soon, Anthony Davis, right?
Davis.
His first game back, didn't he trip over something? like clumsy, whatever the case is.
Anthony Davis. I don't think he played back to back.
No, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm saying the reason, back to the topic, the reason that I like this trade is because no one has seen John Wall play. So why?
Well, they were talking about they were going to release him. So the only person who's really like, thank
you mean
God,
the Lakers were going to release him if they signed him?
Yes.
Oh, so they're going to buy him out.
They were going to buy. They didn't want to give up draft picks, but they were going to release John Wall. So the only person who's really happy about this is John Wall.
If basketball has taught us anything as lifelong Bucks fans, do not trade in your future. Okay? Brooklyn did it, and look what happened.
Okay, here's my thing about that.
Lakers did it, look what happened.
Here's my thing about that. Los Angeles Lakers is a win now team. That's why all those young guys got traded.
They're win now every year, though.
Exactly. So especially when you get LeBron in. So I think this was I think this was a safe move. Because when you don't want to give up on Anthony Davis and Westbrook, you think they're going to be here for the next couple years. LeBron's going to retire, then it's going to be Anthony Davis show. We all know that's going to happen. I think it's going to be New Orleans all over again, but that's another story for another day.
I think the Lakers will eventually move on from him.
From Anthony Davis?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you one, and y'all might be mad.
If he can't finish the season,
I'm going to give you this.
I totally agree.
In the next 3 to 5 years, or sooner?
Don't you say that. Don't say what y'all think you finna say.
The Lakers might be the Giannis show.
Here, I knew you would say that.
Why not? Why not?
Why so?
No, I'm gonna tell you why not. I'm gonna tell you why not. And I'm gonna let you rebuttal after.
Go ahead. No rebuttal needed.
Nobody's gonna be there. So why would you leave Milwaukee when nobody's going to be in Los Angeles?
I don't want Giannis to leave. I don't believe he's going to leave. But you have to remember what Giannis said in his own comments, man. Giannis said in his own comments, I don't know that I'll be in Milwaukee forever.
That's true.
Also, we go to the games. Do you see he's...
I don't paint that picture.
Do you see he's being distanced from the huddles? Do y'all notice that?
I noticed that. I didn't want to say anything about it, but I noticed it.
Like all the other superstars used to do, right?
That's different.
Okay.
I think no. Okay. Look, since
all
you brought it
I'm
up,
saying is Giannis is a rare talent that teams are going to throw a lot of bag at. Okay,
including
Milwaukee. And he might fall in love with the big idea of going to a place like LA.
It's always sunny in Los Angeles.
It's always sunny.
But the only thing that lets me know that Giannis doesn't want to leave here, because Giannis is not the type of player who looks for that attention.
He sure does.
And him going to a big city, a big time market like that would put him in a spotlight where he wouldn't even be able to go to the grocery store. He can go to the grocery store here in Milwaukee right now.
You're sort of wrong because Giannis loves New York. Okay, he loves New York.
That's because they ain't never been. We ain't never been to New York. We would love it.
When he goes to New York, he's like the biggest star there. He comes, they showed on TV. He comes out and greets all the fans.
But see, those are the type of moments you enjoy for the time being.
Sure.
When you're out, but
exactly.
like to live and have to worry about that type of lifestyle, he doesn't want that. Giannis loves his quiet life here, he can just focus on basketball
or go to State Fair with police escorts. But
exactly,
or
go to Target and not be recognized.
Yeah. Los Angeles and New York, all those taxes will probably keep him away. But all I'm saying is, don't be surprised if a big market team
he'll think about it.
Presents Giannis with a major deal to come be their centerpiece. I'm not saying he will leave, but the Lakers have to start preparing for life after LeBron. They do. They had to do it with Kobe, and they thought it was Kyle Kuzma. Right? They thought it was Kuzma, remember?
They did.
They thought it was Ball. They started planning for life after Kobe. They're going to have to start
and they weren't winning.
And they weren't winning. They're going to have to start preparing for life after LeBron, and it is not Anthony Davis. He is not the leader of a basketball team.
I say that now. They either offload him before it gets bad, or in another year or two, ain't nobody gonna want him.
I'll counter his Giannis, Joel Embiid in LA.
I can see that.
I can see that.
Because like I said before, if they over there mismanaging the Ben Simmons situation. And I'm getting once you hit 30,
that's a trade
you gotta start looking toward the end of your career.
That's a straight up trade right
now.
Would Embiid for Davis?
Embiid for Davis?
No,
the Lakers
I don't
do that?
No.
What?
Philadelphia doesn't do that.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Philly doesn't with the
Philly
Lakers
doesn't want
do.
that.
Philly doesn't.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, no.
He's too fragile. Like you just said, he's too fragile, and too much is on his shoulder for him to be too fragile. If you're the next,
But
if you're the superstar to lead us into the future, you can't be fragile.
But
Like
if the
that.
Lakers are willing to offload some of them contracts that Philly has,
That's true
then
too.
Philly will make that deal. I think.
I mean, there was
Because
slight
Philly
slight talk of Ben Simmons for Westbrook and Ben Simmons in LA. There was slight talk of it.
Can I also ask you all, why are we considering, or people considering, Anthony Davis the future? This is his 10th season. He in basketball age.
How old is he?
No, you get at least.
He's
50.
28.
You know,
He got at least 7 in him.
Who?
If he can stay healthy.
5.
If he can stay healthy, 7. If he can't stay healthy, 3 to 4.
Anthony Davis is 28 years old.
That's what I thought he was.
This is his 10th year in the league. He has not had good seasons ever.
You usually go to 35 at least,
except the bubble year.
And that's if he stays healthy.
That's what I said. 7.
Okay.
7 if he's healthy.
So
if he's not healthy, he's done in 3 to 4.
Yeah, but right now I wouldn't trade.
And the Lakers like longevity. That's why they brought in Shaq. Yeah. Right? Shaq gave them years of dominant basketball.
But who can you trade for Davis right now? Who is at the value of Davis at that position right now? I don't even know any players at that value.
To be really honest with you, you're not gonna like this. Is really honest with you. Collins from Atlanta.
Jason Collins.
And you throw in one more guy.
But Collins can't shoot like Davis.
Collins can't shoot like Davis, but he's a
double every night.
He's a good defender. He's a good every night.
You don't even realize he's in the game.
He's a good defender.
Man, y'all better check again.
Good defender.
Collins can get you 21 and 10 on most nights.
Check the stats.
He can get you 21 and 10 most nights. Now, I'm not saying that he's a Davis trade bait. I wouldn't dare.
I'm saying I'm saying Jason Collins.
Are you saying you wouldn't dare because you Atlanta, or you wouldn't dare because you the Lakers?
Because I'm the Lakers. I'm not taking Jason Collins.
And add one more. Add one more.
Who?
A shooting guard.
Bogdanovich.
There you go.
So Collins and Bogdan for
Anthony Davis, straight up.
That's a deal.
You play.
The Lakers can get shooting, but see, here's the thing with
they get shooting and they get defense.
But Bog is also very, very injury prone.
Not that injury prone.
I don't know about that, bro.
Because if he's injury prone, you won't miss him.
Okay, so okay,
you said who?
Bogdan.
Okay, I stand corrected. The Jason Collins of old was a walking double-double. But this Jason Collins is a double-double, night off, double-double. Okay.
What's
night
his
off,
average?
What
double-double.
did I just say?
Night off.
People don't listen to me, though.
Double-double, double-double. So right now, he is hit. Last week, he averaged 12.7 6.7 rebounds. Week before that, 14.3.
He's the guy you thought DeAndre Jordan. That's what they brought DeAndre Jordan in for like a light, 15 and 10 sometimes. Sometimes it's just 10 boards. But you get defense and you get rebounds, and then you add a shooter in there. So, that's what I'm looking at. But speaking of big market teams and big market cities, is believed to be around the league. If the Utah Jazz do not make a deep playoff run, people around the league believe he would demand a trade to the New York Knicks or the Miami Heat.
Who's he?
Donovan Mitchell. I'm sorry. So this is a two-part question. Do we think the Jazz will have do we think the Jazz have what it takes to make a deep run in the playoffs? And should Donovan Mitchell take his talents to a bigger market?
What do you think about a Donovan Mitchell Westbrook trade?
No.
Put the right pieces on the sides of those trades.
No. I see where you're going with it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it, though.
You don't like it?
No. Because here's what I do like about it is Westbrook can get the ball to those shooters. They have like 3 or 4 shooters over there, and he can get them the ball. So I see where you're going with this. But
also,
they
have a big man who doesn't demand the ball.
Exactly. I see where you're going.
He fits better with a team like that.
What scares me is he doesn't know how to take care of the ball. And that is going on off his average. Like the 4, what he's averaging 4 turnovers a game.
Maybe like 17. But hey,
but that right there that scares me enough to where he's going to the rack. He doesn't need to, and he can't get the person. I think one of the bad traits about Westbrook is that he's on 100, and he's on 100 all the time. And I think that the Utah, they don't need. Plus, they already have a point guard over there. The person y'all don't like, but Mike Conley, that's my guy. Y'all don't like him.
But he's
Michael,
he's more aged than LeBron.
What did he say? What was the name? Mike Conley and the Grizzlies.
Mike Conley and the Memphis Grizzlies over Barrett and the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay, first of all, I didn't say that. I didn't
but
say
you
that.
Said Mike, you said Mike. So anyway, Donovan Mitchell is another one of those players that needs to ride out with his team. He needs to chill out and wait. You're playing alongside a defensive player of the year who's going to win that award multiple times.
He will.
Okay, you're in a stacked Western Conference that is becoming less and less competitive by the year outside of Golden State and Phoenix. Stick with your team, man. Don't be like these other players and leave your team hanging just to go to a big market, because everybody ain't built for the big market, right?
Mm-hmm.
And although Donovan Mitchell's a good point guard, what is he going to do for New York?
He's a shooting guard.
Short shooting guard. Thank you. What is he going to do for New York?
Get them some points.
But New York doesn't have a problem scoring. We saw that at the Bucks game.
Yeah, they do.
New York has a chemistry issue. Okay, that's what they have. They have a chemistry issue and they have a bully of a coach issue. Okay, Thibodeau might have won Coach of the Year, but he's terrible for young players. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right,
okay. He is terrible for young players. The New York Knicks just last year were a playoff team. Now we're talking about them in a lottery again.
Yeah,
that's a coaching issue. Okay, that's a coaching issue. And so Donovan Mitchell, appreciate that.
I mean, you over here dropping some gems. I might as well give it to you.
Donovan, don't hate. Don't hate, Laker guy. Don't hate. So Donovan Mitchell needs to stick with his team, ride it out, because Mitchell has the talent to attract players. Like,
I don't think so.
I think Mitchell has the talent. Not that Utah is a place anybody wants to ever live, but I believe Mitchell is a guy that can help bring in some role players. He doesn't need. Bengals won?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh my God.
I'm so happy.
The Super Bowl, Cincinnati.
They're going to the Super Bowl.
Man, shout out to Ohio, man. Ever since LeBron left, y'all ain't had nothing. So shout out.
Hey, Cleveland balling this year.
Shout out.
That's another story for another day.
So Donovan Mitchell, stick with your team. Try to win it there. You're in a competitive West. You have Rudy Gobert, and you have some great role players.
I hate because you was on a roll, but now I got to stop you.
What?
Donovan Mitchell single-handedly almost won Utah, not one, but two series. Two series. He was killing, and the only reason he lost is because other people.
So you're disagreeing with me, but what I'm saying is he has a top defensive player in Rudy Gobert.
I think he needs to, like, one of the things that we kind of criticize young players for, but we still like give them the props, is when is there a good time to leave? You have to fact check me on this, but I think Donovan Mitchell is his 7th, 8th year in Utah, and like the bubble, he had one heck of a bubble.
Can we stop referring to the bubble?
Why?
Because it's a fluke.
I'm saying he had a good series. Did he or did he not?
It was in the bubble.
Okay, then the following year he had the same thing.
Donovan Mitchell is a baller. No doubt about it.
That's what I'm saying. If you're sitting in this team and y'all are stagnant, because you're right, the West is just only getting better. But you're stagnant.
They're stagnant because of injuries. He's
not
been
because
hurt.
of injuries.
Gobert has been hurt. Listen, bro.
I'm talking about the last two playoff runs for Utah.
Listen, we are.
Okay, let me ask you this question.
He's 5 years in.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Do you think Utah have what it takes to make a deep playoff run?
Right now?
Yes. Their roster.
As long as Golden State and Phoenix are at the top, no one over there has a chance at a deep playoff run.
Okay, so with that being said, he's in his 5th year? You just said, right?
5th year.
He's in his 5th year. He's probably top 15 of young players.
I'll give you top 10.
I'll look top 10. I'll give you top 10.
Mm-hmm.
So how long does he have to stay in Utah before it's like, all right, now it's time for me to go?
So here's why that's not fair. Because when he was drafted to Utah, they were bad.
They were really bad.
They were bad. Those first 2 seasons are developmental years, right? That's like the college year that you left college early.
Okay.
Right? Did it die? Those are the college years. So give your team at least 5 to 7 years of a contract to see what they can do. You know what I'm saying? To see what they can do. Those first 2 years really shouldn't count because you are part of something rebuilding, right? You only have 5 years. You're still on your first NBA contract. We're not even into your extension yet. Let's get into a 2 to 3 years of your extension, then talk about trades if it doesn't work.
So you talking about 7, 8 years?
I think you should give your team a good 5 to 7 years before you start saying this didn't work. Like, listen, this is all I'm gonna say. If Dame can give Portland all them years, these young guys can give their teams 5 to 7 years.
But now we're at the point where we're talking about Damian Lillard real quick. We're at the point where Portland is beyond terrible, and we don't know how good Damian Lillard is going to be in the next couple of years because he's having abdominal issues.
Yeah.
So we don't like. I used to say the same thing.
Hold on.
Give your team 8 years.
Hold on. Do you really believe he's really having abdominal issues like that?
Abdominal.
What are you trying to say?
Abdominal.
So what are you trying to say?
You think he lying?
It might be some. It might be something. You know.
Don't say that, Kesey. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Damon, stand up.
I mean,
Damon, stand up guy.
I know he might be hurt a little bit.
Okay.
But I think it's more emphasis put on it.
He pulling a Harden?
Because he's not pulling a Harden, but he know they're not going to go make the playoffs this year. So why even waste a whole year of mileages on your body?
I see what you said. There's no urgency to come back.
No urgency to come back. That's what the problem.
Okay,
that's what I'm seeing. Like, okay,
that's fair.
That's
you know what I mean?
That's fair.
That's fair. Because they're deep in it now. Because if they wanted to, let's say they're real bad.
They cook like shit. Exhale barbecue. They are barbecue chicken right now.
They're deep in it. So even if he wanted to come back, they'll have to win and go on a 15-game winning streak just to be in the playoff run.
Yeah.
So I guess my thing is I don't want to see another guy who is giving his team his all, because I feel like the last 2 playoff runs for Utah, he was giving it his all, averaging over 25 points a game, and that's going to have to be. They're not getting any better. So they're just stagnant in this. They went from the top of the West to like the 2nd or 3rd. Now this year they're in 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
So now they're slowly
Jazz.
Oh
yeah.
So they're slowly declining.
No, that's not fair for you to say.
They're not declining. The rest of everywhere else is catching up. Phoenix is getting better. Golden State now has Clay back. They're getting better.
That's what I'm saying. If you look at it, bro, they're competing. Their top 3 teams above them, right, are the Grizzlies, who came out of nowhere.
Okay, I'll give you that.
The Warriors, who are going to be the Warriors, and the Suns, who are playing off of the momentum of losing a title. So to be 4th in a packed, dominant Western Conference when you're still ahead of Luka, your boy, when you're still ahead of Joker, the reigning MVP.
Well, those are 2 teams with.
Hold up.
We don't have anybody.
You're still ahead of the Lakers with the super team. You're still ahead of several different teams in the NBA playoff. So I don't think it should be a cause for Donovan Mitchell to run for the Rose. You're still in 4th place in a dominant Western Conference. Now, if you were in the East and you were 8 or 9, then you might be like, okay, you know what? It's time for me to go because the Eastern Conference is terrible compared to the West.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Cleveland's 4th right now. They're ahead of the Bucks.
Well, first of all, Cleveland's a good team.
They're okay.
Giannis said it himself. He's like, this isn't the Cleveland of old.
That's because he had the chicken in his hand. You know, he had his Quaker chicken. You know, all he was worried about was that chicken. But if you look at the Eastern Conference right now, the Heat, 32-18. The Heat are in 1st place. The small Miami Heat. The Chicago Bulls are 31-18. The 76ers are 30-19. The Cavaliers are 30-19.
Okay,
hold up. There's a reason why I'm saying this.
All right, go ahead.
The Bucks are 31-20. The Nets are 29-20. The Hornets are 28-23. Mm-hmm. There is literally like a game or 2 that separates the top 7 teams from bumping each other out of the way.
Yeah.
So the fact that Cleveland's in 4th place and Utah's in 4th shouldn't even be measured the same, because 4th place in the Western Conference for a 4th place team in the East is really like that 4th place team in the East is being in the 8th.
I don't know, because I see the East as being a better conference now.
I don't.
More competitive?
Yeah, it's more competitive now.
More competitive
than it used to be.
Okay.
Usually
It's
Majority
LeBron
of the
and
teams with 500.
Yeah.
Like the first
I'll give you that.
the first team or two might be over 500, but
Uh-huh.
usually once you get the third through eighth, it was like they were 500 teams.
Yeah.
But now it's so like competitive. You got KD over there with Brooklyn. You got Giannis with the Bucks. I mean,
I don't even see anybody in the East
Like you
winning
said,
60 games.
the
this year.
Cavaliers is doing pretty good this year.
Yeah.
I'm shocked to see where New York is right now. We gave them too much credit last year.
He gave them too much credit.
Well, first of all, everybody was giving them credit.
You go back and listen to those episodes. I was not on the Knicks bandwagon.
Well, you weren't on anybody bandwagon except for Brooklyn until they
I
played
was
the Bucks.
not on the Brooklyn bandwagon.
You was on their bandwagon. So I still feel like I don't want to say Donovan Mitchell is wasting his time in Utah, but I think if they are still stagnant and you really want to win, go deep into the playoffs, like him going to New York, New York needs to score. Yes. And what you just said is true. They are having chemistry issues right now, but I think they need to score. And Donovan Mitchell, if he does anything else, he's going to be a scorer. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But you guys did make some good points. Real quick. Now, earlier we talked about the All-Star Weekend with the NBA Rising, the new NBA Rising Star format. And we recently got our starting 10, and they're going to be a draft in the next week or two. Real quick, 5 reserves. These are 5 guys you think need to make the All-Star team because with the kind of year they're having. And I look 5 guys from a non-losing team because I do believe a new rule needs to be instigated into NBA All-Star form. Instituted. I'm sorry, Mr. Douglas.
I'm you out.
If your team is below 500, you shouldn't be involved to the All-Star game.
Agreed.
Because
I don't agree with you much, but I agree with that. Same with awards. You should not be considered for a top award if your team is terrible. Because you're not valuable to your team if your team is losing.
I'll give you that.
6-man is a little different.
6-man is a little different.
6-man and most improved are different, but defensive player of the year, MVP, NBA all first team, NBA all second team, you need to be in a winning situation for that.
Your team needs to make the playoffs. Yeah. So, for example, to me, I can't think of his first name, but Garland for Cleveland. I think he needs to make the All-Star team. No. I think Anthony Edwards needs to make the All-Star team. No. Why not?
Too many players that's above them, dude. It's so stacked.
We just talked about Cleveland being number 4.
I know, but you got to remember this though too.
Okay,
listen to this.
I'm listening.
You missing Chris Paul. You missing Devin Booker. You missing.
I don't think Chris Paul needs to make the All-Star team. I don't think DeAndre Ayton needs to make the All-Star team.
Dude, he's a walking double-double.
Who?
Okay.
Ayton.
Can I give you my 5? I'm ready.
I'm not giving you my 5, but I'm just saying. Just think of this. They got the number one.
That's why I brought this up.
The number.
My bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. Talk on the mic.
Disrespect him in front of his son.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't disrespect in front of my nephew, man.
Sorry, good people.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to kick your kicks.
I got thrown off for a minute. You know what I mean?
I was kicking his kicks.
I felt violated for a couple seconds. I thought I was going to have that fight in the studio.
I'm sorry, y'all. I was kicking those fresh white kicks. I'm sorry.
All right, go ahead.
You can mess up.
But yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Phoenix has the best record in the league right now.
That's why I brought this up. But go ahead.
None of their players are considered starting 5.
Give me 1.
Huh?
Devin Booker, that's it.
Devin? You don't think? Dude.
Come on, bro.
Come on, man.
Now you just give it to anybody.
I got my 5.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Hold on.
Let me ask you this then.
What?
So, are you taking Wiggins first or are you taking Ayton? Who would you have on your
Ayton. DeAndre Ayton all day.
Or Andrew Wiggins?
So,
what makes Wiggins all-star caliber? I mean, I know he had a decent season, but like, was it really an all-star caliber season?
Because he's
California.
Because he's Canadian.
No, California.
Canadian
too.
Canadian and Canada can vote in the All-Star game. It's the Yao Ming effect, right? And let's remember, there's a backstory to Wiggins. There was a famous celebrity that Google it that tweeted his support of Wiggins making the All-Star team.
Did you?
Yes. Google it. It was a famous celebrity that tweeted, and that's what really helped put him over the mark. So we have to respect that the starting five is a popularity contest.
That's
right?
why. Okay, let's go.
We
back.
know that.
Let's go back to the original. The five. Give me 5 guys who deserve. Who's not in the starting lineup because we have our starters.
Okay.
5 guys who deserve to be on an all-star team.
Let me know, Kesey. You ready?
I'll go Chris Middleton.
I don't like that, but go ahead.
Devin Booker.
All right.
Right here, while Kesey's thinking, made
me freeze up. I thought you were going to
a
say
K-pop star did some serious tweeting for Wiggins, and plus the voting is open to overseas.
I like LaMelo.
I like LaMelo too.
Mm-hmm.
I like Bridges.
That's 4.
There's 4.
And my last one is probably going to have to go to Donovan.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I like Drew Holiday.
Okay.
I like Chris Middleton.
Drew Holiday's been hurt too much this year, though. That's my only thing.
Who?
He's been out too much.
Who?
Chris Middleton and Holiday. Those are my 2. I like Karl Anthony Townsend. I like Jason Tatum. And I like and see, that's the thing with the guards, man. There's so many that could get it.
This is you give it to anybody.
There's so many that can get it, but my 5th one, man, I'm gonna have to go with Chris Paul, man. And I'm not even a Chris Paul fan, but the Chris Paul, you guys made me a believer just watching how Phoenix went from bubble 8 to NBA Finals to the number 1 record. We're talking 3 years of impact in a row, all on the back of Chris Paul. That's what makes. That's for Kesey, y'all. Although my comments were dope. That's for Kesey. That's for Kesey. That's for Kesey.
Last year, I said, watch the impact that Chris Paul makes on that roster.
Well,
having
first of all,
a 2-guard like Devin Booker, and to bring in Ayton that walking double-double.
Mm-hmm. And the case could really be made, and I'm not saying that he should have won it, but the fact that Chris Paul doesn't even get MVP consideration is insulting. Because he really changed the Suns.
He changed the Suns.
He changed them, so he has to get the MVP nod for me. He's my 5th.
Okay, so mine are.
When are they releasing the reserves?
It should be in the next week or 2.
Okay.
It should be actually this week.
I think the 7th.
It's this week.
Is it the 6th or the 7th? They said
something like that. It should be either this week or next week. So my 5 are Devin Booker, Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy hasn't played enough.
But when he does play, he makes a big impact.
He hasn't played enough.
And then Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, I like that. Minnesota.
Drew Holiday.
Hasn't played enough either this year.
To me, I think when Giannis hasn't been there or Middleton hasn't been there, he's the guy who steps up. And LaMelo. I didn't like him.
That's a lot of guards, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is 5, right?
Yeah, that's a lot.
I mean, it'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah.
I was gonna give it to my boy Allen, but
Grayson?
No, not Allen Grayson. In Cleveland. Not Allen. What's
Jared
his name?
Allen.
Jared Allen.
Yeah.
Jared who?
Yeah, all right, okay.
And, I mean,
y'all see where Andre Drummond at? Yeah.
And you think about it. Think about some of the players.
Kevin Love could even got a nod this year because Kevin Love been balling.
6 minutes of the year.
And think about some of the players that we passed up on: Draymond Green,
no.
Rudy Gobert, DeAndre Ayton.
I mean, I just want to get 5. I think
you didn't even pick your boy Luka.
Oh well, because Luka's guaranteed.
Luka's not.
I'm talking about some guys who I think is gonna get stuck.
Luka's not guaranteed. I can name you 5 players that have been playing better than Luka all season.
Luka's been hurt.
Okay, so then what makes him a guarantee if he's been hurt?
Because he's Luka.
Okay,
come on, man. He's still the number 1 guy under 25.
Man, I told y'all, Luka's
Monk.
I told you
what? Malik Monk. Not that he should make it. He should get considered.
No,
he's the only consistent thing happening in LA right now. I'm not saying that I would pick him, but if you're going to give Luka consideration, you got to give Monk. Get off the fact that he's not a superstar, but he's the only consistent player in LA, and he's been consistent since he landed in LA.
Well, if that's the case, I'm gonna give it to Westbrook.
Consistently put up 10 assists, 10 turnovers.
That's hard to do.
No, it ain't that hard.
I mean,
Jason Tatum. We didn't say Jason
he
Tatum.
said Jason.
Did you say
I said
Tatum? You
Tatum.
got
He said
Tatum on
Tatum.
there. Now, what do you think about Kyrie? If Kyrie makes it as a reserve,
No.
are you good with that?
No, I'm upset.
I'm upset.
I'm
if
highly
I'm
upset.
the other players, I'm upset. If I'm Kyrie, or if I'm a Kyrie fan,
If
I'm happy.
If
Yeah.
Kyrie is the guy he claims to be, he'll be like, I don't want it. I'm be real. If
should
he
write a
claims
so
the
what
guy
you
he
saying-
wants to be, if he claims he's the guy he wants, the people, he'll be like, no, that's not. For
So
me.
he should write a letter to the NBA. Don't even put me in consideration.
Exactly, or step down when if they do consider him,
Why?
because you're not playing home games. You're putting your team. What Brooklyn right now is in what 5th spot?
Yeah.
They've dropped down 4. They were number 1 for a while.
And when KD out for 8 weeks,
You need to be playing every game.
Brooklyn might be playing in that play-in tournament.
See, this is what KD is learning like earlier than LeBron learned. Like having that many scrubs will wear your ass out. Listen, it's tough over there for him in Brooklyn, man.
Shots fired at the end of this podcast.
Just like New York, our favorites are playing with some bums, man.
Man,
I mean, honestly, that's like,
I'm
and
telling
I
you
know
what-
we're ending, but let's be honest. Let's not act like when we see the Bucks play without Giannis, we be like championship. Let's not lie.
Yeah.
Let's not lie.
yeah.
Let's
it
not lie.
But
depends.
Giannis doesn't have to play 40 minutes for them to win.
He
I-
doesn't.
he doesn't.
But I'm telling
Without KD,
Oh, they're horrible.
Brooklyn can't win games, man.
No,
No.
they're
They can't.
horrible.
you, none.
They're horrible.
And I'm gonna tell you, man, this is a superstar league because I've been to games without Holiday and Middleton and Giannis alone.
Looks horrible.
Oh
It's
my
rough.
It's
God.
rough. It's rough.
Oh
You need
my
you need
God.
your 3 core. You need that 3 core.
So John Horst, our GM, you better get busy.
All I know is this.
You better get busy.
All I know is this. We missing Cousins.
We missing
I don't care what
Cousins.
nobody say.
We missing Brooke.
We missing
We're
miss
missing
Brooke.
PJ Tucker.
We're missing Brooklyn.
Yeah.
We're missing Brooke Lopez the most.
Yeah.
Brook Lopez the most.
Yeah.
And we
Did they
they
sign him?
He might.
they let him go.
They let him go and then re-sign him to another team. So technically, we can cop him again.
Yeah.
See?
So
They did.
And he wasn't even doing nothing.
yeah,
How did they do that?
they
though?
gave him 2. You can give multiple 10 days. So they sign him for 10 days
And re-signed.
and re-sign him for another 10 instead of like
But you have
signing him.
You have like a small little window.
Yeah.
A small little window to do that.
And so here's the bottom line, man. To your point, bruh, I want my Bucks at 2P, but they better hope Giannis don't have not an injury because it's tough.
It is tough.
It's tough.
I think the difference
It's tough to 2P anyway.
This league is completely different now, man.
It is.
That's the problem. Like injury bug is just like a booger now. Like it's
a
like
big booger that started to get in your nose and
Yeah,
you,
it's like-
you're irritated
Oh,
by
God,
it.
Yeah.
y'all couldn't find a better analogy.
Well, you
than
brought
that.
up the booger, and everybody that had that booger they know. They just like, man, I cannot get this booger out.
man.
And you just sitting there, man, and you want to dig in your nose, but you thinking about it.
I feel bad for them. This newer generation, like they don't play through injuries no more.
No.
Oh no, those days
Back
are
in the
over.
days when I watched basketball, like I seen Scottie Pippen get a bulger put on his forehead,
Yeah.
and he still played. Like
Yeah.
players now, they get a bulger on their forehead like that,
They done.
they might be done for 6 weeks.
I mean, the flu game alone. How many people will play with the flu?
Or food
None.
poisoning, Right.
Those are, like the flu game alone. We like he throwing up on the side. And he finna pat. No, they wouldn't do that
you
stuff.
know how
and
many
stuff.
times Jordan and them probably played with sprained ankles
Yeah.
and played through it
Because they wanted to be great.
because
Yeah.
you want to be great, like you said.
Get
you
that
wanna
cortisone in there and fight it off.
Yeah. Well, this has been another episode of 94 Feet Podcast. I'd like to thank my brothers for being here. I also like to thank the special guest in the corner. One of these days, he gonna take his daddy's spot. His daddy just don't know it yet. Announcement. So we're just happy to be here. Y'all gonna,
Yeah. Yo, listen to us.
I was just
on-
gonna say bye. That's I got
no.
this from here.
Listen to us
So-
on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreakers, wherever your favorite podcasts are played. Follow us on social media at
Instagram.
Twitter.
Everywhere except for TikTok because we're adults.
Agree with us?
Probably not.
94 Feet Nation, baby.
Peace.